Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning. You're in therapy training course, class number 35. Recording. Is your note taker taking notes? Is that what's going on?
Yes, I
Okay.
take notes, it takes notes, and then I bring my notes together.
Does it transcribe it into something or?
It does.
Oh, you and technology, you guys are getting along really well.
I'm trying to keep up, man. I'm trying to keep up with things that actually help me and don't cause more time suck. This is
Mhm.
one of those things that actually helps me. It doesn't cost me anything in time. It just is when it's over, I get an email and there's my transcript. I'm done.
Love it. Love it. Well, I'm in a relaxed state. I did a art festival this Saturday. This guy, I get in these places where self-esteem doesn't get tested. I'm going, what have I got to lose? So I found this guy that has this lovely, popular restaurant with a patio that's on the main road into downtown Kapa'a here in Kauai. I said, what I
Oh.
got to lose? I noticed he's closed on Saturdays, and Saturdays there's a festival. I said, can I borrow your patio and to give foot massages, treatments? He said, yeah, go right ahead. So I set up and I'm knocking out 8 or 9 during that afternoon. I have to turn people away because it's or I hit the wall, right? I doubled my fee last month, and so I'm walking home with twice as much income with
Beautiful.
as much work.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You're worthy.
And I've been one of these guys who's been able to see the trends before they show up.
Right.
You know where the edge is, the cutting edge is, and I've been on the forefront or pioneered several movements.
That's beautiful, man.
And so that comes with manifest generators and visionaries and blah blah blah.
Yep. And tapping in. You got to be tapped in. You got to be tapped in the source. You're
Yeah,
living right. You're living right, brother Sage.
yeah, I love the dream. So no sniffing, no drinking, no snorting. Did we get there?
Did you say no?
Nose.
Oh, yes.
All
I
right.
think we did. We've done nose. We've done inhalation, the nebulizer.
Nebulizer. We did the pump, the silicone syringe,
Yes, the blue one. Yep. And the nose one.
and the nose one. Okay. Um, okay, we can skip all that
Okay.
because this is one of the last 2 classes. So we're going to kind of rapidly go through the material, and you can pick my brain along the way. I got
Fair
more.
enough.
I got more than enough urine information in my head. Okay. um, all right, so nebulizers, what I started with before I discovered Matt turns me on to the handheld nebulizer. I was
Hmm.
doing a lot of essential oils. So the essential oil community has diffusers,
Yes.
nebulizers. All right. So I was using an essential oil device that had a little container, a well at the bottom to put in the urine, and it would send it up into the air to purify the room. That's what I was using it for.
Nice.
I was
Uh, that sounds really good for people at night.
It's great by the bedside. I happen to had several at the time. One of them has at the base of it as these lights. So when you turn it on, it rotates green, red, blue, green, red, blue, green, red, blue. So while you got golden water coming out of the top, you got this strobe light show going on.
It's got a nice little party going on.
Yeah, and when it switches to yellow, that in combination with the urine look, it's just golden glow comes out of it.
The golden glow. That's
So
what you want in life. You want to represent this lifestyle with the golden glow.
yes, and I had this vision that if and it may happen to you, I don't know if it's happened to you, is that after cleansing and cleansing and cleansing, people's eyes are turning blue, turning gold, turning a greenish color. I figured mine are either going to turn gold or blue.
I think mine, so I've always had like, brown eyes, but
Yeah,
since I started my deep, I call it deep cleansing journey because I've done some cleanses before, but I would
sure.
say the last 3 years is when I've really gone deep into like new arts, new ways, and testing out lots of protocols and remaining focused on cleansing
Mhm.
for this past 3 years, like really leaning into it. And now I have a blue ring around my eyes. I never had that before.
Is it sky blue, baby blue, light blue?
It's a kind of a dark blue right now. But I can also tell that the rest of my color of my eye is starting to shift too. They seem to look a little lighter.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's going to stay that way, if it's a phase, because it could just be a phase of detox, and then I come back to like even darker brown eyes. I don't know. But my son has um, hazel eyes,
Hmm.
and my grandmother had hazel eyes. My grandfather had hazel eyes too. My son. But I'm just like, we'll see what happens because I'm not done. I know I'm not done.
Yeah, I'm not either. And the other day I could have sworn I saw liver flukes come out of me.
I know, isn't it crazy? Listen, when that stuff happens and you're like, what's
It's
going like we can
sci-fi.
you're like still?
Yeah, where are you hiding?
Exactly. Like, where are you guys? And then you think how long you've been on the journey. But here's the deal. I was just explaining to my mom that I still liver cleanse. She goes, how many cleanses have you done? I was like, probably over 15 at this point. I was like, but I'm probably halfway there. And she was like, halfway? I said, yeah, because I still get stones every time I cleanse.
Yep.
I said, and I know it's part of some of them are new because I don't do everything perfect.
Hmm.
I said, I still eat at night sometimes.
Hmm.
And you can pretty much guarantee if you eat at night, you're going to develop some stones, especially if you're eating cooked food. I said,
Process.
so so every time I do that in my little mind, I got a little calculator going. Oh, you just added a gallstone and some mucoid plaque every time that you have a cooked meal. So I said, I have this little calculator going in my mind. And so when I do cleanse, I've got some level of expectation
Yeah.
about what I could, what comes out. But again, like I told you, it's like the most impressive release was when I hit that magic zone one day with the aged urine drinking and
Hmm.
enema and the same day. And I
Hmm.
was just dumping stones like crazy. I wasn't even in liver cleanse at all.
Yeah.
I was just doing my daily urine therapy protocol. Just
There's
another
magic
enema,
that
just
you know.
another enema, just another drink, right? And then all of a sudden, I've got all these beautiful green stones flying all out of me
Hmm.
for like 2 days. It still blows my mind that that happened with no Zen cleanse, no magnesium Epsom salts, no olive oil or grapefruit juice, just
Hmm.
my water.
Hmm.
Holy smokes, Brother Sage. That blew my mind. It still blows
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah. And it still works and it'll continue to work. And we can't patent it, brand it, or market it.
Mm-mm. I'm just gonna keep right now. I'm just excited to keep aging some like fine wine right now. So I'm excited about the aging process for 2 gallons that I've set aside that I took out of rotation, you know, and
Hmm.
just said just sit here in my shed. I got the lids cracked a little bit like we talked about, and they're just living their best life out there. And I said, I'm not gonna touch you guys for a year.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. Have you ever aged any urine long enough to where there was no ammonia smell or taste anymore?
Good question. I don't know if I picked it up. The longest I've ever had was 3-year-old.
Yeah, 3 years. That's a long time. And it still had some level of ammonia to it, right?
I don't remember. I'm going to have to start some up again. I go through mine too fast.
Yeah, I could see that. And it's hard not to when you're really using it like you're supposed to, So I've been looking at my schedule of how I want to lay out various therapies throughout the week
Hmm.
to get to a certain amount of aged urine usage while I'm still making some at the same time so that we got a nice consistent flow to where I'm never without and I'm always working on something every day.
This is what this morning's looks like.
That's beautiful.
This is about 30 minutes.
That looks like some raw vegan pee.
uh, I just I go to these wild tangents about who I can bring onto a show and what we can talk about, and I just pitched Sasha Stone. You know who he is, right?
Yeah, That's
Yeah,
cool.
so I've started a conversation through Messenger about urine therapy. He says, "Well, tell me more." I said, "This will take a while, but
Which book do you want to read?
I sent him the link of my books. I told him about some of the history, what it is, um, and I would love to have him do a show together.
I hope he does it. That would be cool.
I mean, somebody wanted me to be on Joe Rogan or to be on Alex Jones. I'm going, I don't want to go to Texas and I don't want to hang out with these guys. So forget it.
Like I think he's a scumbag anyway. I don't want to hang out with him.
No matter what his angle is, just to be in there.
Joe Rogan's controlled opposition, for sure.
Oh, indeed. To be able to say the crap he says.
Uh-huh. And don't forget where he came from. We used to watch him when he was on Fear Factor when he was a little boy. Remember when he was hosting Fear Factor back in the day?
I can go back and look, but yeah.
He used to have all those people lay down and snakes and bugs and
Oh,
all
it was a
kinds.
reality show? Reality?
Yeah, yeah.
That
So
was him.
that's where Joe Rogan really got his big start at was back then. Um, and then into MMA, and then finally he got this talk show thing. Everybody wants to hear him. And I think some people forget he's a comedian.
I can believe it. I
Yeah,
can believe
he's a
it.
comedian. So he's definitely,
He's a good actor.
well, here's the deal. If we're seeing Joe Rogan, the powers that be want us to see Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan is in the system. He's been in that television system for over 20 years, and
Mm-hmm.
no one's in that system who's not part of the system.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
for sure.
that explains why a lot of these guys are still alive.
Exactamundo.
Yeah, I figured that out. All right, so we got the nebulizers. We've got dropper bottles that you want to keep handy everywhere
Mm-hmm.
in the car, in the glove box, in the medicine cabinet, in your backpack. I don't know if I told the story about I was giving a foot massage to a client, and she decided to park her bike, lay down on the grass so I could have access to her feet. She accidentally puts her hands on a nail. I said, urine therapy will work really great for that. She says, how ironic. I just heard about it 3 or 4 hours ago. I said, I got some in my car. Let me get it. I come back
You're
and
supposed to find the master.
oh, you got to keep it on hand. Most people think, well, it's just for them,
Hmm.
but it's multi-purpose. And since it doesn't matter what gender you use or what race you use, I say keep it in your first aid kit
For sure.
because you
Hmm.
you never know when it's going to happen. And one thing I learned is you always ask before you put your urine on somebody else,
That's right. Always ask. That's right.
or they'll just accuse you of putting your DNA on them. So the next subject is urine injections. The next protocol.
I've been waiting to talk about this one.
Okay, so the one who knows more about it than me is Chitta,
Okay.
and he's got an urine injection telegram group.
If okay, let me do this right now while do you have the name of that group?
Urine therapy injection.
Okay, let me see if I can find it real quick before I move
I
on.
will find it and email it to you.
Telegraph app. Get over here.
Let's go down to Shivambu Research.
I think,
No,
oh, I must have took the app off my computer because I remember it wasn't working that great. So let me go to my phone real quick. Knock this out.
all righty. I'm going to shoot it out to you in Messenger
Thank you.
because it only takes a few seconds.
Okay, and so it was in urine therapy injections.
Yeah, I sent you the invite link.
Okay,
And what he was doing was he was doing urine therapy injections. I said, listen, where we are at today in our history, something that is going to be very beneficial to other people, you need to document it and share it with the world. So he
for
put
sure.
together a group out of my suggestion, and he's been documenting what size needle, how much to put in the syringe, where in the thigh or butt muscle, and that's the group. He hasn't put in much content into it for a while, but one exists now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, come here, come here, come here.
Come hither.
Oh, there it is.
Can you write and listen at the same time?
I'm all ears. Go right ahead.
Okay, Andrew Norton Webber, we've mentioned him before.
Mm-hmm.
He had an allergy to wasp stings. He would, flare up, blow up, and he'd have to hit himself with an EpiPen. And then he heard about urine therapy. So next time he had allergic reaction to a wasp sting, he consumed urine therapy. He consumed urine, and the symptoms went away. And he found that he never had a problem with that kind of allergy or symptoms anymore. But he never mentions doing injections, and I would have, because injections is immediately it goes right in the bloodstream. All right. So somebody has anaphylactic shock, which he did, seizures, attacks, passes out, imbalances, brain, whatever goes on with their body. If it's a 911 situation, you happen to be nearby with urine and a needle, inject them.
So this is great emergency medicine.
Very great emergency medicine. And if in the new paradigm, which I wrote about, if 911 responders knew this stuff and they show up on the scene, they would inject people immediately with urine before they take them into the ambulance or
Mm-hmm.
slow drip plasma into their body. They'd be dripping ultra filtered plasma water into their body, which they're not doing.
Right.
I'll read a little bit from the book right here. Urine contains substances that your body does not need. Listen to those words. These will aggravate the body, causing the defense system to develop stronger antibodies for anything that would compromise or harm the body. Injecting urine causes the body to go into a hyperactive healing mode, which forces it to heal and release toxins immediately. Direct injection of urine into the bloodstream will bypass the stomach, digestion, and elimination systems that makes it very potent. And that's the important part, that it shortcuts all the time it takes to get to those systems.
Fast working.
Fast working. And if it wasn't for the fact that I have needle fear, I'd be doing it myself.
I'm going to be trying this.
Yeah. In the meantime, for anybody who, I guess this is being recorded. In the meantime, if anybody hears you suggest uh, injecting urine into their body and they don't want to do it, they're afraid of the needles, whatever their reasons is, find somebody who is like a retired nurse who's doing B shots, glutathione, vitamin C, those kind of
The
injections.
IV drip clinics.
IV drip, but you have to find someone who's urine friendly.
Yes.
So you don't have to like spend time educating them.
Mm-hmm. It's because no one's talking about injections, and this could be an amazing way in today's climate for many people to adapt to it faster. It's
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have to drink it, you know? We've already
Exactly.
got people shooting themselves with GLP-1 and IGF-1 shit and peptide shit like they're all bodybuilders. And these
Yeah.
people are just trying to lose some weight,
Mm-hmm.
literally. And they're popping, they're injecting themselves like it's okay, like it's normal. I'm like, this is the wildest thing that we got going on. So if we can
Well,
do that, why not inject our own urine and get all the healing for free?
at some point when the paradigm finally does make the shift, yes, I've actually, when I was in Boulder, I did things that nobody would ever consider any sane person would doing, like
Mm-hmm.
hosting a table in downtown Pearl Street in Boulder and bringing out students and cameras and talking about urine therapy. Had 44 guests came by. I got a permit from the city.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, gee, my balls must be that big. I didn't care what happened to me. I'm going, there's got to be told. We had 45 people show up, only 3 hecklers.
Not bad.
Not bad. I also went to these IV clinics. I pitched them on the idea. They said, you know, liability this, medical that, blah, 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 blah. But somebody had to plant the seed.
Yeah, because somebody's gonna come out with the urea IV anytime soon.
Yeah, we're going to replace the EpiPen with the urine pen.
What you got in there? Some special urine from some special place.
I got it from a cow that's walking the streets in India, and they call her Betty.
Imagine how much urine we could collect, and we wouldn't have to harm any animals to collect it.
That's right. So, and I might have mentioned too, more and more people are coming out and breaking their addictions because of urine therapy. And how I got really inspired was this one guy from New Jersey. Don't need to mention his name, but he came on our World Urine Therapy conference call at the beginning. I put together like 44 of these. And he shows up and on camera, in front of all these faces on the screen, admitted that he broke pornography addiction using urine therapy. I said, not only was I in awe of him willing to say that, but that opened up the doorway for every addiction to be discussed.
All the addictions are the same.
They're all the same. So he bravely spoke up.
That's good. That's so, so good. Um, there's another interesting case that's coming to my mind as well. Oh, that's something different, but it does still kind of. I know he uses urine therapy as well, and he claims he has parasitically healed himself from homosexuality
With urine therapy,
with cleansing protocols, but I know he also uses urine. And I think it would be the urine that would be the main factor
the
that
main factor.
likely helped him heal that because of the energetics
Sure.
that it brings into the being. I think that was probably the most potent thing. The herbals, there's plenty of people doing that.
And so, I mean, this is history in the making. Has he brought that out publicly, or is he keeping
He
it?
has. I don't think I asked him personally that he do urine therapy in a message. And I
Hmm.
want to go back to him. I'm actually thinking about working with him
Hmm.
to gain some knowledge on what he's figured out for certain biofilm detoxification. He's really focused 100% into that area, and I'm like, there's always new information because he's very well focused on the nanotech superbug fungus that a lot of us are still haven't figured out how to get out of the
Hmm.
body. And he shows pictures of this stuff. This stuff is gnarly
Wicked, wicked as hell. Yeah.
looking. And I'm like, I definitely haven't had any of that coming out of my body. So it's likely still in here.
And is it something you need a microscope to identify it?
Yeah, he wants a microscope to be able to do better, deeper research. So he's
I mean,
actually,
if you and I eliminate these things, how can we see them unless we had magnification?
well, he wasn't using magnification to show it. Right? He wants to use magnification to actually dismantle it, to get smarter about figuring out better and more specific pathways to get into neutralize the threat swifter and with more ease. So he needs to do more research. And I believe that one of the core protocols that he's using to get to that level of expulsion with the fungus,
Hmm.
that nanotech fungus is um, tobacco juice.
Tobacco juice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never used tobacco juice before, but to
Me
me
neither.
that says nicotinic acid.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because here you can find wild tobacco growing on Kauai, right? And I had a
Hmm.
friend or two gave me some tobacco starter to get it growing.
Nice.
This was right at the time that Dr. Artist was pitching nicotine patches, nicotine gum, and a friend of mine was down in the gum. I'm going, yeah, I like the concept, but all those products have chemicals in it.
Yeah, too many chemicals. Yeah. The side effects of the chemicals we don't want. We just want the
Wicked.
substance that's going to help us, and that's it. Give us the pure no chase
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You can grow tobacco easy.
Well, I got a garden for it.
Perfect. Get some seeds. Have somebody mail it from Hawaii, whatever it takes.
Well, I live in a tobacco state.
Oh yeah, okay, no problem. You can
It's
get your hand.
everywhere.
Go talk to the farmers.
That
When
should
I
be an easy
when
one.
I lived in Colorado, they were calling it Cannabis Colorado because cannabis had just become legal. So that's
Hmm.
like half a dozen growers. They had the highest content of THC and everything in it, right? And at one point, they were giving me the shade leaves, the leaves that weren't part of the bud,
Nice.
taken home, and I would come home with 5 or 6 pounds and juice it all.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah, I juice it and freeze it, or juice it and bottle it, and when I was ready to use it in a mixed drink because it's pretty tart, just to the
Hmm. No, that's a good deal. I think we've got all the answers. They're out here. All the answers are in us and in the plants. All the answers are there.
hmm Yeah. So thanks to urine therapy, we are discovering all that. All right. Any questions so far about what we talked about?
Nope, all good stuff. I'm all locked in.
All right. You know about the goggles.
Yes, sir.
All
Using
right.
them, using the goggles. I
Using the
now
goggles.
enjoy it. I now enjoy it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I actually like this. This feels
This is fun.
good.
This is fun. It looks good on you too. All right. So we did the goggle thing. No problemo. You know about the tongue cleaners? Tongue cleaners?
Yep, scrapers.
Yeah.
I have a
Well,
copper one.
all right. Copper's good. Whatever you got. Some have little teeth around the edge to take off the extra film. Some are
Hmm.
just plastic and it just scrapes across it and dip it in and then pull that across your tongue.
I do it after I do my urine pulling. So I pull first and then I scrape off whatever comes.
Okay. And then your tongue is nice and lovely and pink.
Just ready to go. It's nice and
Yeah.
pink again.
There we go.
But I think that's one of the things to remember about telling someone that starts their urine therapy journey is their tongue may be white for a very long time.
Mhm.
Like, don't expect it not to be white. Because mine still gets white because it gets to new levels.
Right.
If I get on the days that I don't do aged urine internally, it's
Mhm.
not that white. But if I do aged urine, it's coming out.
Yeah.
It's coming out. It's like boom, biofilm, exponential biofilm thickness. And I'm like, geez. And I'm like, dude, I live a pretty darn clean life. And it just shows you the level of depth that we need to go. It's very deep. We have to go very deep. And this is where I think people, I was just talking to a lady before our call that just came on board with us. And she was telling me she's doing a lot of the things. And I'm like, some of the biggest things that I'm hearing is you haven't done it long enough consecutively. You haven't stayed in the zone long enough. So you keep retoxing more than you're detoxing. And so you're kind
Mhm.
of going into this cycle. And a lot of people get stuck here because they don't know just how deep they have to go. So you're
Mhm.
now at a level where I think you've accepted that that's not what you want to continue doing, right? She's like, no. I said, then we've got to go to the next phase. And now we've got to go deep. We've got to be steadfast. We've got to lean in for the long term and stop running back to old paradigms that don't work, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because
Yep.
once you get on this urine, just like I think I told you last time, if you take a break from the aged urine and you start back like I did within a week,
Mhm.
it's like it remembers where it was at before and it tries to catch up to whatever got in the way or kind of got in the way in between those two sessions.
Right.
It wants to rapidly get back to that state. And it just starts purging, 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 and then all of a sudden you're completely empty again. So that happened for me, and I was like completely empty, and I just pooped and pooped and pooped for at least 7 times in one day. I didn't
Yep.
eat anything. I wasn't hungry for any food. I just fasted that day, woke up the next day, still coming out, took another enema, and then by mid-afternoon, I started to plane off. And the only thing that was coming out of my bottom was urine.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we do have like miles and miles of tubes compressed inside our body. Most people don't realize that how much is in there. and how many veins we have, and there's just so much concentrated and impact, and that's got to get through there. It's got to get through all those tubes.
I mean, think about just how long the lymph system is. And it's all over the body. And there's some things that are easier to access than others,
Hmm.
based on where they are in the body
Hmm.
and how your glands are working, what's going to be able to move, what's not going to be able to move until a certain level of healing happens with certain glands in your body. So it is really big, long work. And that's why I feel like urine therapy is great to combine with fasting because it kind of keeps on pushing things forward. Anytime you can get into a urine therapy fast, you should. Go ahead and do it at least once or twice a week where all you do is drink urine. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Nothing
it.
else. At least one day a week, go to looping. So what I used to do was one day a week dry. Not
Hmm.
anymore.
Don't need to.
Nope. We do one day a week, urine only.
Cold water. Yep.
Yep. All day, about 40 hours. So
Well,
and actually I'm late. I'm going to break my fast here after we're done. So I will have gone 46 hours or so on this last orin only water cleanse, if you will. Water fast.
you sound clear. You're tracking. You're keeping present with me. So definitely, it's doing the job.
Oh, I don't feel much like at all from the fast.
Yeah.
It's like a no, it's a non-event.
Uh-huh.
It's a non-event. Like my body just enjoys not being on food.
Yeah.
My energy's great. I get my workouts in. Been doing all my client appointments today, and my energy is still high as it needs to be, very high. Um, so I'll be up working. It's only like 4 o'clock now, four-ish, almost four, and I'll work in probably till 7 o'clock, 7:30 tonight before I shut down. Feeling good.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. I started my day with let's see, three-fourths of 20, about 20 ounces of urine, did the toilet thing, and then I'm going for a hike, and I was doing coconut water, barley and wheatgrass juice powder, and cayenne.
Mm. I'm telling you, brother Sage, you're living a good life, man. You're living the good life. You've got this stuff dialed in.
Well, what it takes, and you've got it down because of the former military. It takes that kind of an organization, that kind of a system that you can, you're dedicated to it. You know where things are. You know how to make things work for you. And it's really helped me because I need structure. And so to
Yes,
be able to have that in place, I can count on it. And so having that kind of a mindset, that kind of discipline is what people are going to need. I mean, in spiritual terms, they call it your practice.
for
The
sure.
only way, the only way you're going to know the power of meditating, the power of mantras, the power of prayers is the daily practice. Same with
Amen to that. That's the
therapy.
truth. You gotta practice it because it's a skill. Those are all skills. And even as I was kind of putting things together, like, okay, I need my car kit, I need my home bathroom kit, and my daily use, but I also need an emergency kit at home. Like, I just want to have, like, we can just go right to it because it's all going to be aged for the most part. Anything that I need fresh urine for, we can get on the spot.
Yeah.
So I'm just packing up everything and just eventually I want to go back and start putting like some notes in there, like for the car one, for example. It's like some cheat sheet kind of stuff
Hmm.
to be like, this would be great for this. Don't forget about that because when you're in the heat of the moment, as a newbie using it that way, you might
Yep.
not be prepared or remember how many things it's really good for. In an emergency situation, you want to put it on an open wound, you want to put it on an abrasion or, a blunt trauma type of thing,
Send.
eye injuries, so on and so forth. There's probably tons of things that we can do. I bet aged urine works way better on jellyfish stings than regular pee.
It works great on everything. And what's I've enjoyed is watching the conversion of people in the community.
That's beautiful. We need more and more, more and more and more to happen. Um, I've got people doing it. I can't wait to try this urine injection thing because there's so many people that would do that. And it's weird because I think using needles is stupid.
Yeah,
right? Having to use needles are dumb. Why would you want to inject yourself all the time with poisons
sure.
going directly into the bloodstream? And here we are, we've got the best medicine on earth that we can put right into the bloodstream and get nothing but amazing benefits. Because now I'm thinking about untapped opportunity within myself, going, dude, if I got an injection of that a day, what would happen? So tonight I will be all over Matt's group, and I'm going to message him to let him know that I'm in, um, and to fast track me.
Yeah, yeah. You can either let him either reach out to him directly or send
Yeah.
a call
So
through
I'm
it.
in the group, and I'll be like, hey, I'm in your group. Fast track me and charge me because I love that boy. Love him.
Yeah, that's why I adopted him.
He's
Yeah,
one of the good ones. He's
he
one of the
calls
good
me
ones.
dad. He calls me dad. I call him. I met him when he was 25. I've watched him grow.
That's amazing. He's a good dude. Such a good dude.
Good heart. All right. So next thing is the belly button.
Yeah.
The belly button has 72,000 nerve endings that end up in that area called the Pachati. And
How many?
72,000 veins. I'll read it from the book here. The belly
That's
button, the Pachati, spelled Pechoti, is the part left over after the umbilicus has been cut at birth, is behind the navel, and it has more than 72,000 veins. The total amount of blood vessels we have in our body is equal to double the circumference of the earth. That's one person. So being able to deliver that into all these different areas of the body, right from your core, right from that chakra, uh, you don't want to overlook that. So whether you use a cotton ball and soak it and drop it in there, or you put it in your hand and hold it over there, lay on your back,
mm-hmm.
get that in
I
your,
could I could see myself doing that while I'm doing my enema in the morning.
yeah, easy.
That's going in ASAP. ASAP. Gonna update the protocols. That's too easy.
That's too easy. And some people want to duct tape it over their navel so it stays in place. I said, you could do that or just get something heavier weight like a washcloth and, pop it over there.
Yeah, I think it'll absorb. I bet it won't take that long to absorb.
No, it won't. When I'm doing showers and baths, it doesn't take long to just wipe my hand over the belly button and hold it in there. One
Mm-hmm.
thing I was doing when I'm doing the protocols in the bath is don't wipe it on really fast. I would just leave it there and visualize it soaking in to the areas that need healing.
I actually
But he's
missed it.
trying to rush through these things.
I just missed it on my face. I just missed it a few times, missed it a few times until it's fully covered. Then I go in and I gently pout, just massage very gently with my fingertips.
Yeah.
No major pressure. I might do a little bit of gashua
Hmm.
stuff
Hmm.
with it, but that's it.
Yeah. Yep. It's getting in there. So the Ayurvedic people, I'll read a little bit about them real quick. Ayurveda, the belly button is used as a portal to deliver nutrients or medicines into the body. We know that all humans have a belly button unless you were born with an umbilical hernia and had to have it surgically removed, leaving you without the navel. But not every mammal has belly buttons. Kangaroos and platypuses don't have a belly button. Dolphins do.
Interesting.
So that's another connection we have with the mammals.
That's right.
Dolphins, the whales, the monk seals, which we have a lot of out here. If you see a monk seal out on the shore, on the beach, the agreement that everybody has with these monk seals is to stay 100 feet away from them.
Okay.
Because they're not here. They don't want to interact with humans. They're just sunbathing or laying out there, and we don't want to. It's their environment, but humans think, oh, they're so cute, I want to pet them. But it doesn't work that way in their world.
Wow. That's that's something very sensitive. Understanding life and how they want to interact with us or
Hmm.
not. Because
Well,
our ego is so bad. We're trying to push ourselves on all the creatures,
oh yeah,
and they're like, we don't really want anything to do with you. We're good. We're living our life without you. Fine.
yeah.
Why are
You
you
have
dragging me out the water? What are you doing? Leave me
to
alone.
leave me alone. All right, so there's a whole bunch you can read about the belly button, and I'm not going to go into detail because we want to get through this book. Um, there's a whole section I put together on evolving urine or evolving urine. And at the time, I was soaking up, no pun intended, the teachings of Harry Matadine, the teachings of Monica Schuett, the teachings of whoever was the current writers at the time when my book came out. And so to honor them and their teachings, I put them in my books.
Oh, that's sweet.
And so you had nothing out there, so how could I include you?
No, no, it's not my time yet. Yet.
So I've changed the wording a lot, and I started this kind of stuff years ago when I realized that the human language was not very empowering. I mean, for example, I started a movement called the You're Worth It movement because when people said thank you, you're welcome, it didn't register. So I started responding with you're worth it. Thank you, you're worth it. And when you say
Yeah.
it enough times, it sinks in and people's eyes start to glow. You're worth it. What'd you say?
Mm-hmm.
Worth
Mm-hmm.
it. And so I changed the word aged and aging because it sounds like you're losing your strength and you're getting old. And, how could that be good for you? So I changed it to what it really is doing, which is evolving.
Yeah, it is evolving. It's forever evolving.
And so once I put that out there, now anybody who knows me uses it that way, expresses it.
I like that. I think you're right on point. That's very wise.
So yeah, always look at your language and see if we can upgrade it. We say
Yeah.
things on automatic without looking at what's really underneath there, what's the energetics. So you kind of know what this is all about. So I don't really have to go into detail, which is lovely. The boiling of the water, that's optional. I know
Yeah.
Matt did it once because he wanted everybody else to have a steam cabin in effect. So we'd put our head over this urine that was boiling on the stove. I said, well, that's kind of fun. I'm not going to do that, but that was fun while it was there. We did
Yeah,
it.
giving it a shot. Yeah. I think I would do that if I didn't have a nebulizer. It's yet another way if you don't have all the toys.
All the equipment.
Yeah. You got a pot?
Yep, you can steam it up. You got
Very
heat, of
good.
course. All right. We're on the Orin bath. Now, the Orin bath, if you happen to have 8 gallons, you can do a full out, not diluted version of an Orin bath. All right.
Okay.
You want enough to get total body submersion. You lay down to your neck, as much as your torso can be covered up.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be 8 gallons, it may be six, it may be 10. It all depends on the body size.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay, bring it on.
Since I'm doing this with my feet and it seems to be working very well, is I'm doing it with my socks, soaking my socks in urine
Yeah,
and then wrapping them in the shower caps so they
yeah,
don't leak. What about bathing the same way with towels?
yeah.
Soaking the towels and laying them all over the body?
Yep. Sounds like what they call a body wrap.
Body wrap. Yeah.
It's something we did in the mid 80s when this nutritional MLM company was pitching their product, body balance or whatever it was. Life
Mm-hmm.
Force, I forget the name of it. And they were having these body wrap parties. You'd come in and someone would take out a paintbrush and brush the combination of the herbal essence or the herbal concoction all over someone's body. And then they'd wrap you in a plastic and leave you there to just uh, sweat and let it go into the body for an hour or so. Well,
So I think what I'm going to do with this is because I've been trying to get to a good bath. Like that idea just came in my brain right now about the body wrap.
it's perfect.
So I have a very old sweatsuit. I'm going to soak that sweatsuit in my urine and I'm going to wear that. And that's going to be um, my body wrap suit, if you will.
So will you be standing vertical and walking, or will you be laying down?
I'm going to be laying down. So I'm
Okay.
going to put that on and get in my bathtub.
Man, you inspired me. You inspired me. I'm gonna get I'm gonna go down to a thrift shop and get one of those scuba suits.
Or that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, how do you think they're able to surf for hours? They've got the warmth that's pushed back into their body.
Yeah, they got them warm suits.
Uh, Scuba suit. They also have the foot covers,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be a urine wrap. Yep, this is ideal. This is cutting edge stuff. You've got it recorded. I think I might have it recorded here.
That's cool. That is cool.
So any kind of skin condition, and that leads us right into the next chapter with skin conditions, external application. Any skin conditions you can imagine, whether it's a cut, whether it's a scratch, whether it's edema, whether it's eczema, whether it's psoriasis, whether it's sunburns, third-degree burns, you name it. We're going to regenerate the outer and the inner parts of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're soaking, let's give them a fancy cocktail glass with an umbrella. And they can
A
suck on their urine while they're
little
laying.
urine Mai Tai.
Yeah. So that's what that chapter is all about. Now, if you don't have enough urine to do the bath, you can always dilute it. You can do half water, you can half urine. Um, some of the folks now, Chitta was doing an outdoor hot tub version when he was back east. He actually built a bathtub in his apartment in New York City.
That's ambitious.
Very ambitious. And since he's done that, now we also discovered that once you've done the hot tub outdoors, you don't want to drain it. You want to just keep it using it again and again and again until you feel like enough is enough. And one guy developed this um, hot tub coil device, and I think I have a source of it, where you have the hot tub with a hole on one side of the hot tub and a hole on the bottom of the hot tub. Okay, stay with me so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's the tub. All right, on one edge is a hole at the top of the where you get in the tub,
Okay.
and at the bottom there's another hole.
To
And
just let it out.
here's what happens. Out of the top, that goes through a coil.
Okay.
The coil is around a fire source. It could be wood, it could be whatever it is. So it's gonna wrap around the burning fire, and as the urine comes out of the top and it goes through the coils, it's heated up, and when it reaches the bottom of the coils, it goes into the bottom hole and it fills up the tub with hot urine.
Oh my gosh.
All right, no plumbing, no electricity. You can fold it up and take it out into the woods.
What?
Yeah, this guy figured it out.
That's pretty neat. That's definitely big brain stuff. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
An
So
engineer, an engineer at play.
engineering figured out you don't need electricity or plumbing. Yeah, I want to get one of those. Those are nice. Oh, the other thing is those roll-on tubes with the
Hmm.
does. Somebody I know is going to send me one or two,
Wait a
but
minute. I owe you that.
I...
It's sitting right on my sink. I owe you that.
All right.
And I have filled it with urine.
So you tested it? Did you see
I
it?
did. It worked great.
Oh, good. Yeah, the my inspiration was a student from the last class, and while we're doing class, she's rolling it on her face. I said, these people live and breathe urine therapy. I love them. They're
Yeah,
fab.
once they're in, they're in. I mean, some of the people that really got me motivated were very young. I met a lady through Zen Cleanse,
Mhm.
and she was interviewing me or whatever a couple years ago, and got on this subject of urine therapy, and I was just amazed. She's like 22, 23 years old, and she's sold out 100% on urine therapy. And I go, that's got to tell you something. Everything that comes in youth is um not bad. Some of them have very old wisdom. They came here with the wisdom, and it just got unlocked at an early age.
Yeah, and they don't have to go through all the hurdles about the programming and the belief systems, and
I think the sooner that we can get this, I'm so happy that my kids hear me talk about it a lot. They know that I do it, so that they will be out of fear and that they can adopt it as soon as possible because this isn't about, to me, this isn't just about recovery. This is about staying completely out of trouble for the rest of your life.
Prevention.
Like this is the therapy that everyone should be doing every single day of their life, day in, day out, to keep every other substance that's not of us out of us as much as possible to keep the most optimal health.
Hmm.
And that includes food. I think if someone really honestly wants to go the breatharian route, they've got to pass through urine therapy to get there appropriately. Because it's the only true therapy that's really going to cleanse them deep enough to give them the best breatharian experience.
Yeah, to maintain it. So the other thing I've noticed that since I've been so wrapped around urine therapy, it's been so integrated. It's, I'm a true devotee of it, that wherever I go, boy, there's conversations of illness everywhere I go. I got this, I got that, I got scratches, I got cuts, I got blah, blah, blah. And I just throw it out there. You ever heard of urine therapy?
Hmm.
By the way, my book, The Inescapable Book that I got in the public library system, I was really excited. It was a defining moment. I'm a local author, blah, blah, blah. They yanked it out of the system a week ago because they discovered that I was a local author teaching and preaching and consulting about urine therapy. And evidently, these guys are like Bible, or I don't know what their issue was, but they pulled a book out and says, no, that doesn't meet our standards.
Which are,
I don't know, but it goes against free speech.
so they authorized it first.
It stayed for 6 months, and then one
So for
day,
6 months it met the standard.
yeah, and then all of a sudden I get this group email from all these different librarians that said, we've had to take it out of the system. And they canceled the book signing event. And
That's evil at play.
yeah, it is. And I'm not going to judge them for it. I'm going, I had a good run.
Oh, they were all being told what to do by some other dark energy.
Yeah,
They're just following orders, boss.
no problemo. Okay, so body wraps we've already talked about. Urine rubbings is really simple. It's just a quick application wherever it is.
Hmm.
In the book, I mentioned homeopathic tinctures, though I don't talk about that much and recommend it, but people wanted to have some info on it. And so true homeopathic is uh, they dilute it down almost 100%, 100 times. Like the Bach flower remedies out of England,
Hmm.
they're doing these homeopathic remedies and they swear by it.
Yeah, they I saw a couple people mentioning something about that in the Facebook group as well about, one drop. They're like just one drop, try a drop.
Yeah, under your tongue.
And it can be very therapeutic,
Yeah.
so I believe both sides of the equation. I think it's about the results that you're looking to achieve, at the end of the day, and the state of the body
Mhm.
will determine the dose and the application the best. So you could start with a drop, but if you've got a major gut problem you're trying to heal, for example, volume is probably going to be appreciated more. But if you just had some level of imbalance or symptom that wasn't directly connected to that level of depthness in the gut, a drop might work just fine. Maybe you're having headaches, maybe you're having this symptom or that symptom. It might work out just fine in a homeopathic dose. I'm very doubtful of that when it comes to clearing the gut. You need some volume.
Yep. That's why I keep pushing people toward saturation dosing.
Yeah, we saturate um, whenever possible. I would not go to homeopathic unless I was pushed to go to homeopathic in this regards, because I think our own medicine is already homeopathic because it was meant to be drinking every time you pee.
Hmm.
So that's a homeopathic dose. That means you're taking it more frequently than just waiting all day to take it all at the same time. So
Hmm.
technically, that is a homeopathic dose of today's serving, today's production of urine.
Except it's full strength.
It is. It's just a lot of volume.
Yeah, well, that's what I like about sip looping is you always have some every couple hours.
And then again, it's full strength compared to whose analysis, because maybe the body has already made it homeopathic by default in terms of how our body appreciates it.
Yeah, what it needs at that moment. All right, compresses for hair, hands, head, brain. Very simple. Same kind of thing. You're going to use some kind of a washcloth or something to put it over your head, your feet, your hands. You can just lay down and put a washcloth over your face. I might want to do that, go down to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
What I tend to go down to the beach is I'll have a container uh, and then nobody can see through it or it looks like beer. Nobody knows what I'm doing. Guy's putting beer on his face.
He's really drunk.
Yeah,
He's wearing his beer. He's like, get in here. I don't care how you get in. I gotta get drunk.
that's funny. He's a beer wearing man. All right. Orin as a deodorant. Very self-explanatory. Instead of using what do they call it? Perspirant,
Antiperspirants.
antiperspirant. You just put urine under your armpit. And after a while, it evaporates, so you're not going to smell ammonia or anything. And you'll notice, and more people who are going to be part of this community have stopped buying body care health products, shampoo, conditioner, underarm deodorants, sunscreen, all that nonsense. We can toss it out and use the money for something else.
I think I'm about good on everything except shampoo. I've never tried that part yet. I'm gonna do it next time. I don't wash my hair, but typically once a month anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, this is me with just urine in the hair. And I noticed after a while, my hair would get darker. If I was consistent every day, I mean, other people that are in my group, age group, they got silver hair all over the place. Yeah, I got it
Mm-hmm.
beard, but this is my hair is looking like it start to turn a little bit copper, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
light
Mm-hmm.
brown, and that's what you see in the Hawaiians who've been born and raised here.
Very cool.
I see a lot of copper colored hair.
A lot of copper hair. I've got some gray coming in for sure. So I'm always looking at, how can I slow it down and reverse it. I feel like my body is going to do it in its own time,
Yeah,
right? I'm not done detoxing. I know that for sure. So there's still some level of renewal and turnover I know my hair needs to go through that I haven't seen yet. So I've still got the gray like right here, which is the family heirloom gray right here in this spot in the
yeah,
men. We're all marked. Bam, bam, bam. That's the gray spot right there. So I know when that starts reversing, I have got it.
gotcha.
Yeah, that I've tapped in. I'm not there yet.
Well, my family all had the bald crown up in here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And everybody said, well, that's because I was raised Jewish and we wore a yarmulke on our head.
Yeah.
But my sister had it too. She had the bald spot up there. And she was constantly wearing wigs.
Wow.
But it doesn't bother me. I've shaved my head at 12 times, about 12 times. And if you haven't, have you ever shaved your head?
Many times.
Yeah. So get you off your ego attachment to hair, and it's so much easier maintenance. You just get out of the shower if you're dry.
Yeah, you're moving on.
You're done. All right. Orin by the bedside. Have I ever mentioned that tip?
No.
Okay, there's several reasons you want to keep it by the bedside, and some people will do this and some won't. If you keep it uncovered, then the fumes come in and they cleanse the air above your face or wherever that area is near the orin. Plus, it's right by your bedside in case you want to have a drink in the middle of the night or use it to collect. So, some people will keep it on a nightstand next to their bed. Nurses the nails.
Mhm.
Have you noticed that your moons have changed?
My what?
The moons, you know what the moons are on the hands?
Mm-mm.
In Chinese medicine, they not only do tongue diagnosis and eye diagnosis, but they look at the moons.
The cuticles?
Yeah, the bottom part is where the moon shows up.
Yeah, I don't have any anymore.
They say the healthy people have a good moon.
So I have them on my thumbs.
Uh-huh. Yeah, mine's a third of the thumb.
Yeah, I've got them on my thumbs. Maybe I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I see it.
I've got them on my thumbs, but that's the only place I have them.
Okay. The
But
other thing,
my nails are very healthy.
okay, and they grow really well.
They grow like nuts. I was just putting a post up about my hair. I've got like some of the fastest growing hair my hair salon, my hairtician, my loctician
Mhm.
has ever worked with. And I'm like, that's just because I'm clean and I'm getting cleaner and my body sucks in all the nutrients, all of them. It's getting in. I said, because my nails, and I showed her my nails, she goes, women would love to have your nails. I go, they're clean, the beds are pretty, the nails are strong. There's none of that, no white spots, none of the lines are there. They're just nice and smooth. I said,
Yeah.
that says a lot about nutrition in your
Hmm.
body, how your body's performing, how that gut's performing.
Yeah, I've got moons on all the fingers. The other thing you want to notice is that when you bend your finger back and the color turns white and then you relax, it should go back to pink quicker.
Yeah, the blood flow. Yeah. Yep. Like
We
clockwork.
My clock or good secrets. All right, we are done with the protocols.
All right, we did it.
We did it. And we're going to go into general treatment suggestions. And before we get there, what's your timeline like for this class?
Um, till 5?
Okay. So, oh, what's that? Another 45 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is that enough time for today?
Whatever we got is whatever we got.
Okay, brother. Sounds good.
All right. To remind us, we are not medically trained professionals and not doctors. We do not diagnose, we do not prescribe, but what we do is what we call general treatment suggestions. So when someone comes up with whatever their condition is, you're going to give them a suggestion with the multiple um, protocols for them to use to recover and to heal themselves. And that'll keep you out of the arena of being considered, practicing without a license.
Mm-hmm. We don't prescribe.
We don't prescribe, we don't even diagnose because
Nope, no diagnosis, no
that's
prescriptions.
fear-based. One of the answers that I learned when I was pitching MLMs over the years, when someone asks you, is urine therapy good for this condition and that condition, multiple sclerosis, diabetes, brain tumors, COVID, heart disease, blah, blah. The simplest answer, which keeps you out of trouble, is I don't know about that. What I do know is that when I use it, I feel healthier and stronger.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So nobody can say you were practicing without a license because we've already seen what happens to people, what they do out in public. Okay, so this is what this is about. For example, work with clients who are stressed, exhausted, or have low energy. You may wish to remind them that Orin contains nutrients that everybody goes to the health food store to buy, and it's already in there. Melatonin, serotonin, magnesium, DHEA, dopamine, L-theanine, phenylalanine, niacin, tryptophan, oxytocin, and B complex are well known to support the function of the glands, the adrenals, the nervous system, and the brain. And when you get in the habit of snorting, sniffing, drinking through the nose, your brain will stay on task a lot better.
I've noticed it personally.
Yeah,
As an entrepreneur, it's very easy if you've been doing it a long time to get distracted because if you've worn a lot of hats for a long time, you're sales, you're marketing, you're the practitioner, you're, you're all the things, and so it's easy to get distracted when you're trying to go from one side of the brain to the other. and it can be exhausting.
Yeah, it can. And I'm finding that the discipline really helps me because when I'm on task and I'm focused throughout the day, all those things I used to do to avoid those responsibilities don't show up.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to a movie. I'm not looking for a lover. I'm not eating crap. I'm not doing drugs. You know, I'm not wasting valuable time like I used to. And then afterwards, you'd feel terrible about yourself because you did that.
Yep. It's always you feel dirty. You're always going to feel dirty and you get the guilt and the shame, and it's never equitable.
Not productive at all. So, yeah, well, you got it built in. Military people, they have it built in. The people I hung out with that were military and into urine therapy, I was always amazed by their level of discipline, their structure, their system, how neatly they fold their clothes. I mean,
Well, I've been out of that world for 21 years, and my wife made sure it got out. She made sure we thinned that thing out because I was single for most of my military career. So the level of analness was very high in my lifestyle because I didn't have anyone else to balance it out. There was no need for it.
yeah, to get
Um,
feedback.
so she used to mess with me, man. She used to walk, she used to go, I used to come home and notice that pictures were crooked.
On purpose.
She would do it on purpose.
Yeah, just
I
to,
was like, why are you screwing with me? She goes, I knew you would totally notice that. I just wanted to see just how tuned in you are. She goes, you have a problem. She goes,
yeah, or she would mix match your socks.
oh yeah. She play all kind of tricks on me. And she goes, you never miss. You're really that anal retentive. And I go, I guess so. I didn't think it was a bad thing, but this is how I survived. You know, I live I said I work in a no-fail environment. Everything is down to the excruciating detail.
Yeah.
And it's checked, checked, and then checked.
Hmm.
She goes, what? I go, we check, check, and then check to make sure everything is 100% ready to rock.
Yep.
And she goes, that's just crazy. I go, yep, because what we do is crazy. We do crazy stuff. So you
Yeah.
need
But
crazy methods to make sure you come home crazy alive.
hmm yep. And you come home with all the body parts you're left with.
That's right. And someone else's.
Yes. And somebody else's. All right. So on page, well, you don't have your book in front of you, do you? Uh,
Yep.
oh, that's so
Which
funny.
one? The inescapable truth or
Shivambu, the manual.
got it. This one.
All right. So you got I don't know which version you have,
I
but
have this version.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I recently caught this picture of Amanda Vollmer. She goes through cycles and periods where she doesn't talk about urine therapy. She's on a DMSO. She's into conspiracy things. What's going wrong with the Canadian government? And all of a sudden, urine therapy comes back,
Yep, she goes in rotation. I noticed that too.
goes in rotation. And there's the latest one where she goes on and on in depth about urine therapy. And down at the bottom, she's sitting there reading my book. And it's that copy that you have.
That's awesome. That
So
makes me happy, Brother Sage.
it makes me happy too that all these people are supporting each other. We're all colleagues of each other, and nobody's any more important than anybody else. And so nice to not have to play that game.
No, man, we're all in the same gang. We're in this love connection to help our people, help our brothers and sisters out here.
Yep, all our peeps. So the general treatment suggestions, which you can see here on the upcoming pages, is a small piece of all the general treatment suggestions that I borrowed from Cohen Vanderkroon's book, The Golden Fountain.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did was I condensed them down to the conditions that most people are using, they're concerned about, and they're dealing with.
Okay.
And so everything from acne, eczema, burns, brain injury, dandruff, ear problems, energy, fungus, parasites, prostate conditions, kidney conditions, heart conditions, tooth, tinnitus, UTI, vaginal problems, warts, wounds, etc. So you'll notice in this list, after a while, you get really intuitive at this when someone says, well, what would you recommend for this and that? Well, you'll notice a lot of them are very similar.
Right.
Fasting, enemas, massage, foot soaks. And when someone tells me what the condition is, since I'm a student of Louise Hay and I learned the metaphysical connections with health and healing, I know if they got a liver condition going on, they got some unexpressed anger,
Absolutely.
right? So whatever the condition is, a body massage is always helpful to soothe those unresolved emotions, right? All these nutrients really help calm people down. So whatever
Yes.
protocol you can direct them to not only treat that particular organ, but the overall system, I would include it. This is why when I go back over this list, I can see things I missed in the original writing and publishing of this book. And so that's why I've got included in hand notes
Yep.
book. For example, when I did, if you look at athlete's foot and foot fungus, I totally left out foot soaks.
Oh no.
That's because it wasn't in Cohen's book,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as you go back, allergies, I included compresses over the lungs, sinuses, nose sniffing. That was not in his original book. So as you go through this list, you can add things that you intuitively know would be a great add-on to whatever's suggested, even though it's not in the book.
I've read this book 3 times, at least.
Oh, so you might add those. Like under energy and fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
I added enemas and foot soaks
Gotcha.
because sometimes we're zapped. Yesterday I was zapped. I couldn't get, well, something was going on. I felt like I had a slight headache and my energy was just going flat. I headed right to the ocean. I head to the ocean. I drink some ocean water. I'm walking the beach. I'm talking things through to the far distant sea. And all of a sudden the energy shifted and I was fine. So it was energetic thing that was going on with me. It's not illness or toxicity. Sometimes it's just the energy.
Yep. Something's blocking something, or you're not getting enough connection, with the ether.
Or I'm
It's all kind
indoors.
of things. There's all kind of things that can be going on with us, and it's not always what you're eating or what you're drinking, or, those are the easy ones to get. But when you still feel like you're not whole or you're not balanced, it's probably something you can't see, and it's going to come back to frequency, light, vibration every single time. You might just need to move your biofield to a new area to get balance.
Yeah, relocate and get into action. When we're stuck and we're paralyzed, A, we're not breathing, and B, the universe is going to try to, give you a 2x4 in the side of the head, say, hey, get moving. Any kind
Get
of
moving.
movement, walk, yoga, tantra, massage, whatever. Get into movement because your brain is getting on paralyzed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you start all of a sudden, here comes the creative flow. It's like it got put on pause and all of a sudden it's there. It didn't go anywhere.
No,
So these are
activated.
general, you have a question? These are general
Nope.
treatment suggestions. And the first thing you want to remember, and you know this stuff, when someone comes up to you and say, what would you recommend? Is urine good for diabetes, COVID, UTI, this, that, and the other thing? The first thing I want to tell them is to drop the identification with the name of the disease. And let's work with natural order, change the diet, do some cleansing, and you can get this back without having to spend the long, lengthy period it takes to heal a disease. And if you do it now and you make the changes now and you have a good, joyful, grateful heart, this thing can accelerate and collapse in the timeline. There's some people that have flipped these things around in 24 hours.
I
And
don't doubt that at all.
yeah, it's not the exception of the rule, it's the practice of the law.
Mm-hmm.
And when I work with my clients, one of the first questions I ask them when we do a consultation is, are you open to a quantum healing in one session? Can you imagine if the mind stretches to hold that,
Wow.
right? When they're coming out, you're really scared and going, I have this, and they said it could take that long to fix this and to heal that. And I said, what if time was a construct and we could collapse that in one session and you have an internal shift and all of a sudden it's over? And that's the shame shift that happens with our prosperity versus poverty, intimacy and relationships. I mean, it's all doable when you understand the power of the mind.
Mm-hmm. That's a powerful statement. Powerful question.
The only thing you cannot heal, which is in the inescapable book, is what you believe you cannot heal. It's the same with achieving. All these guys that are great, very successful in their careers and with their work is because they have the right mindset.
Yeah. I there's a client that I work with who is constantly telling herself she can't heal. I haven't worked with her in a few years. She was also a recovering alcoholic. Um, and so got her to heal some things. You know, her body healed some things. And she's like, "Oh, but this thing, I will never be able to heal that." And I go, "Well, how do you know that? Like, who told you that? I mean, you obviously can't if you don't think you can." You know, I said, "So that can't is yours, and so it won't work for you. Meanwhile, other people are healing it every day.
Yeah.
So what makes you so special that you can't heal it? Like, what gave you that authority to tell yourself, I can't heal it? Meanwhile, I got people over here that are doing half the stuff you're doing, healing that condition on a
And God,
regular basis."
yeah. Yeah. God singled them out as the one person that
Yeah,
can't.
you're the one person that can't heal this. You're so bad.
I know. So, so these are the general treatment suggestions. Okay. And then that leads you into chapter 10, which is how to design protocols and help your clients build their wellness practice. So that's going to bring into play the holistic model. That's going to
Hmm.
talk about their diet, their exercise, their wellness, and their emotions. What kind of attitude do they carry? Do they have any spiritual practices? By the way, I have to constantly, when I watch my words, I'm framing words in certain ways so that people don't get polarized by it. And one of those words I've had to demystify is the word spiritual.
Okay.
What is a spiritual practice? What makes you a spiritual man? How is this a spiritual life? And my understanding is whenever you practice the presence, whenever you bring the sacredness of whatever you're doing into the moment, that's a spiritual practice. And so if you can frame it right, even the Christians will hear you.
Hmm.
Or anybody who thinks that you're just one of those weirdo new agers. I learned a valuable lesson one day. I was selling crystals that I dug from Arkansas. I brought them to a I brought him to a house. And we had a garage sale, and on one of the tables, put out tables and tables full of crystals that we brought back, and put them out on display. Well, this woman came up to me and says, um, "What are those?" I said, "Well, some people say they're used for healing and transformation." She says, "Well, I'm a Christian, and that sounds demonic to me. That sounds like something, you know, Satan worshipers would do." And she got up and she walked away, and it stunned me. And I realized my presentation could have been better. I could have
Mm.
said, well, everybody uses the rocks differently. Some people think they're beautiful. Some people think they have some special significance. That's up to you. You don't know your audience necessarily when they show up in your life,
That's right.
what their language is.
That's right. I try not to get overly concerned with those things. I think people are meant to vibrate how they're meant to vibrate,
Yeah.
and that we can't overdo everything for the sake of trying to appeal to all people. I don't care to appeal to all people. I've been given my message and my way of articulating things that I'm comfortable with doing, and either people are going to align with it or not, no matter how cool I say it. You know, if you can't hear the real message, which is in between the words,
Yeah.
then you're not paying attention anyway. Some
Yeah.
people are going to get it, some people aren't going to get it. At least through me. They might get it through you and not, and the same thing, someone could see you and not get it through you, but they could get it through me. I've worked with multiple clients who've worked with other practitioners I know personally,
Yeah.
and were able to get to a new place with me that they couldn't get with them. It doesn't mean that that other practitioner wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have been able to connect with them at the level that they needed to connect with, is all.
Yeah. Well, that was a lesson for me back in the 80s.
It's a good lesson. You know, we try our best, but you could say it perfectly, and to the blind, they still can't see.
Oh, yeah. All right. Any questions about designing a protocol, a practice, a suggestion, and giving people treatments?
No, sir.
You're going to design it based on what they bring you and what your intuition tells you, which you're already doing. I'll drink to that. Mm. So chapter 11 is clearing the mind of the landmines, clearing the mind of all negative association, beliefs, ideas about UT, including suggestions, theories, and myths taught to you by the medical industry. And this is part of the
From
uh,
the industry that wants to collect all of our urine and sell it for profit.
yes, and they have all kinds of ways to do that, and so do we.
They want us to throw it away
Well, yeah,
so they can sell it to us.
that sounds like a lot of things. Oh, it's not you don't need it. That's okay. We'll take it from you. Oh, we're going to sell it back to you.
Mm-hmm. Wait till they start vaccinating us with urine. I'm
I
just
can.
kidding.
What are you doing? I'm putting pee back in your body. So this chapter here is designed for you to be able to hear what's underneath the question. What are they really trying to say to you? Um, since Oren, okay, let me just read a little bit from the book. We use prepackaged cells, blood plasma, white blood cells, and countless other blood components. Orin is nothing other than a blood plasma product. Babies are being breastfed, and we easily accept this, along with the practice of eating dairy products. Yet we cannot imagine drinking Orin. Fresh Orin contains the same substances as those found in the blood. If you think about it, Orin was blood plasma just minutes before it became Orin.
Mm-hmm.
So we're bloodsuckers?
We are blood-sucking vampires of our own blood.
Our own blood. I know it's all perspective. It's all
We are
perspective.
the epitome of the self-licking ice cream cone.
I know this is beautiful. Um, Overcoming objections in a sensitive and compassionate manner is crucial to a successful UT session. Anyone who criticizes or challenges you about Orin therapy, whether someone in person or someone who calls in on a radio show, while you're being interviewed, these are known as a heckler, is someone who never did their research and is repeating what they have been taught about Orin. And you can spot these people really fast. Oh, don't you know it's a waste product? Don't you know it's something you want to throw out? Don't you know blah, 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 blah. The first thing I would ask them is, where did you get that idea from?
Well, it's in the ether. It's in the education system
Mm-hmm.
because my kids automatically think it's a waste product. I'm like, well, who told you that? They don't know where they heard that. They don't even know where they learned it.
Go back to toilet training.
It's probably how we educated them.
We
Don't
were
touch
taught,
that.
don't touch that,
Don't
wipe
touch
up
that.
afterwards, try not to hit the rim. Yeah, that messed up more people. And so that messed up our sexuality because we thought, it came out on my tube. It came out of my dick, so that's probably like,
Ew.
yeah, yeah, it came out of a vagina, whatever it is, and it messes people up, and so they have to clear all that guilt around their bodies.
But it's just funny to me that we'll be afraid of urine and at the same time be
Yep.
educated enough to know it's sterile. And it's such a conflict. It's a complete conflict. And you're
Yeah.
like, but it's sterile. So why are you treating it like it's not?
Mhm.
Oh, you don't want to believe it's sterile because the other negative information makes you scared. So you want to err on the side of fear instead of the side of reality.
And that's where
When
our
we are literally, when I broke it down to my wife, who is a beach girl, so she
Mhm.
came from the beaches, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, what do people do when they get jelly stings? She goes, oh, they pee on their feet. What did you do when you were an athlete and they told you to pee on your feet when you got athlete's foot? She goes, so how
All
can
right.
it be dirty? Tell me how.
Yeah.
I said, the onus of proving it's a filthy product should be on the person claiming it. Tell me how it's dirty. Please share how could a sterile product be
Hmm.
a problem, be an issue?
Yeah. And how come it was sterile while you were being born in your mom's body, but when you got out of her body, it's no longer sterile?
Yeah. And you were breathing it, you were drinking it, it was all over you, all in you, all around you. And
Massaging
so
you.
that same urine is still this same urine. There's no difference in this urine.
Yep.
So I also wonder, Brother Sage, is that part of the dark energy of control in a way? The dark energy of control that allows us to manifest this belief because it's in the ether and it's believed by the majority of people, right? That it's this negative thing, that we produce this negative stuff, you know? Um, and I know even, then
But
some people and a lot of people like to argue, well, if you drink your pee, why don't you just eat your own poop? But here's the reality. Even our poop can have benefits, maybe not through eating it,
yeah.
but we can use it in other ways.
Oh yeah. And people are known to do fecal implant.
Exactly. So a lot of us is good, but I think it's also attached to the negative energy that's already in people who don't have the self-love. Because we think about most of these people are going to be sick people that are entertaining this anyway, that are coming across it, or researching something because they're not well, or they're in the wellness community because they're not 100% well. They're always looking for new fixes and hacks and whatnot. And so you're not whole yet. And so you probably are still possessing things within you that cause you to do bad things to yourself, quite possibly. And maybe those same entities are trying to keep you from this beautiful truth that could help you overcome all the things. There is make no misunderstanding about this. As soon as the inside knows what you're about to do to help turn directions with your wellness, they come after you. Why have I counted numerous times that people have spent $600, $1,000 on cleanse materials and cleanse kits,
Hmm.
and they're too afraid to use them?
I know they're sitting on the shelf.
They've been sitting there for 6 months, a year, staring at them because their bodies and the entities within them feel it.
Right.
They know, they feel the energy of that stuff, and they're like, oh no. And so the mind keeps finding excuses to not move forward.
So
That's
yeah.
not by coincidence. I've seen it happen too many times from
People
some
get
very intelligent people. These aren't dumb people. These aren't even wasteful people.
no, but all that programming is by design.
Yes, sir.
And we are changing that by the minute.
Yes, we are.
So here's some of the questions that people would ask in my response to those questions. I've always thought it was a waste product. Why would anybody want to drink their pee? What they're secretly wondering is if you are a trusted or credible source. They're profiling you. They're trying to test you.
Mm-hmm.
What will they, my parents, my siblings, my children, or my partner think of me if I become a pee drinker? And there's a lot of people that you know and that I keep meeting that are closet pee drinkers. They're keeping it close, they're keeping it tight. They don't want people to out them because
Yeah.
they're still judging themselves.
Mm-hmm. I don't care. I tell it all the time now. I've even I drink on camera. I want my people to know that's who I am, and it's part of what I promote because it's kind of like in the games, like my kids talk about their gaming and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they like there's always like the final boss that you have to defeat. And the urine is one of those final bosses. You when you bring urine in, you have gone to such a high level of overcoming your own self that you're in final boss mode to tapping into the best medicine on planet Earth for once in your life, for the first time in, well, second time in your life. And so many things are going to change for you once you start, and it's not all about the physical and everything. It's a lot of things are going to change for you. And it's a great feeling when you tap in. Like, I don't want to go a day without it at this point. I love how I feel.
I do too.
And it's different. It's different from just being on supplements and eating well.
Mhm.
This is a game changer. In fact, I have supplement resistance because of urine therapy now. I'm like, I feel great. I'm taking this crap. I want to take it. I'm not gonna take it.
I I still have them sitting on the shelf. I'm passing by every day.
I know. I'm just like, well,
There you
I
go.
maybe
There it is again, but I'm not drawn to it. And I'm not willing to throw it out yet. And there'll come a time where I throw it out and go, well,
it's run its course.
it's time. Yeah.
But we got to let the mind and everything come together. So there's nothing wrong with it sitting on a shelf. It ain't bothering nothing. We'll let it sit there. And then maybe some days I'll take it, maybe some days I won't. But I am gonna take this every day, no matter
Yeah.
what. It's the first medicine of the day.
And it doesn't have an expiration date.
It's better than honey.
It's, and honey doesn't go bad either.
I know. It's like, so we need to start talking about another food that doesn't go bad is your urine. That needs to get into some jokes and some memes. And you're the guy for that, Brother Sage, because I've seen your memes. They're good. They're great.
Well, it reminds me of when I got into the birth certificate is actually is a bond, is a bank bond.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But what I did was I brought together the birth certificate and the topic of physical immortality. I said, if you think about it, have you ever seen an expiration date on your birth certificate? No, I haven't. Well, maybe you're immortal. I don't want people to just keep stretching their mind a bit.
Well, if
Um,
we can stretch our minds, we can stretch the body.
we can. We can do anything. Remind the client that they think about themselves. What they think about themselves matters most. What others think about you is none of your business. I'm going to feel embarrassed and think others are criticizing me with some of the comments people made. I said, once again, give reassurance to the client that it's okay and they're okay just the way they are. Nobody is going to come into your life or get into your head and tell you that's wrong or you're doing it wrong. Somebody might ask, are you crazy? Are you in a cult? It's a trust issue. So you want to give them reassurance. Is it safe? Once again, that question comes from a trust issue. There's no side effects, there's no after effects, there's only benefits. The only way you can go wrong with urine therapy is to walk away from it. That's why that's what we tell people. They say, "Don't you know it's a waste product?" Only if you waste it. Otherwise, it's your perfect medicine and open your mouth and you know what to do.
Yeah, you know what to do.
Is orange sterile or full of germs? Being made in the ultimate sterile environment without any contact from outside the body, your water is being made in an ultra sterile laboratory. It is always designed exactly to meet your most current needs, stored in a sterile container called the bladder, and then signals you by using pressure that your elixir is ready. So you might say the bladder is more timely than notification from the internet or from your text notification. My bladder is my notification, and I don't turn those settings off. So if somebody asks for any testimonials, I would send them to shibambu.org
Okay.
because Christopher, who's our webmaster, borrowed a whole lot of those from Shirley's Wellness Cafe. And so because it's good to know where all these resources are because people are going to ask you, what's the science? Where's the evidence? You have testimonials. Where can I get devices? We've got all that. We built an infrastructure for the worldwide community.
Okay.
The same with the directory. More and more people are wanting to get listed because they've decided they're not going to be shy anymore. They're willing to reach out and be known. And someone could contact somebody in North Carolina or in South America and say, I need a teacher, I need some guidance. Because there wasn't one. There was one in the back of Cohen Vanderkroon's book that came out in 1994, but most of those therapists or clinics, there was one in Albuquerque or Santa Fe, they're closed or the person's dead.
Yeah. Because
So
we're not well, I think we are in a place now where we are reproducing at a hopefully a better rate of urine therapy practitioners.
we are, and you notice that the new generation that's coming through, they hear the call, they jump on it. They're putting together content. They're doing podcasts about urine therapy, and these guys fire me up.
That's good. We need it. We got to have it. It's beyond past due. It's beyond past due, that's for sure.
Question comes up, why does it smell sometimes? Well, that's because the uric acid converts to ammonia, but then it starts to smell. However, the smell evaporates completely after the urine is absorbed into the skin or any organic surface. Some people call it evaporating, some people call it outgassing like a new rug. So people don't have to think, oh my goodness, my whole room is going to smell like ammonia, and it doesn't play out that way. What has it done for you? And this is something that really helps when people say, how do we know that it works? And then you have your own testimonials. You've got testimonials from other people in the community. Um, if people are shy about explaining it to somebody because they think that the person's going to judge them for doing that, I always recommend you either show them testimonials, third party endorsements, urine therapy books, take yourself out of the spotlight and let them do the research.
Okay, gotcha. Let them dig in.
Let them dig in. And this is something to remind your students that they don't have to feel like they're on the spot and then you're helpless. Your hands are tied because the person's knows you and they have history with you and they're going to judge you. So get out of the way and give them whatever they need to open their mind. Because that's what it takes is that an opening in the mind to accept a new idea. Reminder, you and your client can only succeed as long as they take the position of if you take a position of a servant, a guide, a mentor, and not an ego, a personality, or identity that's seeking to prove anything. I'm not going to convince them that this works. I'm not going to, my job is not to save them, to liberate them, just to give them the tools, teach them how to fish. You know how it goes.
Well, you know, Brother Sage, a lot of them, most people are coming from some type of, medical association, right? Allopathic medicine. So even right before our call, I was instructing someone about some things they could do. And she was like, well, you can't make me take that. She was joking, but she was like, you can't make me take that, blah, 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 blah. I said, I don't make anybody do anything,
That's right.
nothing at all. This is all voluntary. I will never force anything. You can't even force your body to heal. So why would I
Right.
try to force you to do anything? These are just some recommendations. These are just some suggestions of what I've seen help other people and myself and my family and my friends, right? And all these other holistic practitioners that I know are doing well with these kind of things. So if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, I mean, you can keep the problem you have, or maybe you can find another way to do it.
Mhm.
But I can't make you do it. I don't want to make you do it. I got kids. I don't even make my kids do things.
Smart, smart. Um, so when's our last class? The 17th?
Yes, what's that like Wednesday next week or something like that?
That's on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, cool.
And same time, same station. We're going to now surveying a client is really simple. Some of the questions I tossed out to you by email right before class. And these are various questions you can use, as well as own questions that come up in your mind that you can survey people about. What do they think urine therapy is? How did you get involved with it? Are you coming because you have a health challenge? Are you coming to it because you're curious? Um, Whatever it is, these are questions that you can pose to people to help them, take the next step, get over any kind of negative association or gag reflex. I mean, thank goodness I didn't have that. When I started, it was like because I trusted uh, my mentor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was good enough for him. It was good enough from his guru Babaji, also known as Shiva. I'm going, what's the big deal? Let's do it.
You know, you just took me back to the first time I had it, and I sat there with it for a while, right? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna trust myself. Millions have come before me and done this. I can do this. And it was the biggest non-event
Non-issue. Yeah.
once I put it to my lips and just started drinking. And I was like, okay, what's the big deal?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't get to this point until I drank my strong evolved urine.
Uh-huh.
And I was first time dealing with the ammonia and whatnot, right? And I was like, well, it's what I said to myself, Brother Sage. I have drank a lot of tequila in my life, straight
Oh,
out the
yeah.
bottle.
Oh, full bottle.
If I can drink that toxic alcohol, I can do this. And I chugged it back and I went, whew, just like a shot. It's just like a shot. So, except all this great stuff started happening within minutes of drinking the aged urine. You feel it hit your bloodstream, like you feel the tingle. It's kind of like drinking green juice with lots of chlorophyll in it. You
Yeah.
feel that tingle go throughout your body. And I was like, okay, I feel charged, I feel electric. And then within a half an hour, I'm on the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's starting to go to work. So I believe that
What
one
else?
of the best ways to test your gut situation now is with evolved urine. So if you think you've done all the things and you've got cleansed out and you've been using Zen Cleanse and whatnot, and you've done grape juice, grape cure stuff or whatever, that's all fine and dandy. Have you done an age urine
Drink.
washout? Have you
Wash.
tried that? Because that's probably going to bring some clues that you're not done because it's a
Mhm.
new level that it can get to that the other things simply can't get to. You
Yeah.
know, that's the
It's
same reason why we use different parasite modalities, is it not? So that we can get into certain places that other institutions can't get into when the herbal kingdom or other solvents and things that we're using. Some parasites need other motivating factors to get to them and get them out of the body, you know?
right. And some of them have evolved that they can overcome wormwood.
You're
And
like, dude, we know wormwood. That ain't nothing, man. We're used to that. No
yeah, yeah,
big
yeah.
deal.
Yeah, my kids are way past that. Yeah. Yeah, I went from all those standard ones to the turpentine to the baking soda to frozen castor oil capsules. It's like what? And then I just kept up with the urine therapy, and they were showing up in the toilet. I'm going, wow. That was simple.
Simple. On board, parasite cleanse, ready to rock. It's
Beautiful.
it's such a it's always a refreshing feeling knowing that we that our Father, our Creator, He truly did create us perfect.
No mistakes.
He gave us all the things that we ever needed. It's already on board. We just have to have faith to walk back into it. Absolutely. We just have to have faith to walk back into it, to accept it as our chosen power, as our gift, as our connection to Him.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the connect. Um,
It's the
but
same with
yeah,
it.
I had this vision so many years ago, Brother Sage, that these were, fasting and urine therapy these were the biggest powers, some of the biggest healing powers that God ever bestowed upon us. And that this entire matrix never wants you to wake up to that, ever. And
No, because
they will put a study out there. They will put an influencer out there. They'll put some super so-called smart person out here to keep us derailed,
hmm
you
yeah,
know?
they don't want you to walk away.
No, and I wonder, like someone like Dr. Morse, for example, how has he been allowed to remain and not be deaded
Hmm.
as long as he's been teaching what he's teaching?
Hmm.
Because he denounces urine therapy.
Hmm.
He wants you to stick to his herbal cleanses and the fruit,
All
which
this work.
is 90% of the truth. 10% of it is not revealed because I want to teach people this way. We can go do all this stuff, or we could just start drinking pee. So
It's
you
so
want to
simple.
go do all this stuff first? You want to go through all these supplements, you want to go through all these diet changes, you want to go through all these therapies, you want to spend all this money and all this time, or we can come to urine therapy. And we're going to start seeing things happen much more swifter. And I'll give you this as well. Every person that's told me they've tried everything and they've tried urine therapy has never done it long enough.
Yep. Or quit too soon.
Straight up. I got referred somebody last week who's done everything, and she goes, she's even done urine therapy and this and that. I said, listen, it's not about what they've done. It's about context and timing. Context and timing. Yeah, some people have shot a basketball. That doesn't mean they're going to be Michael Jordan tomorrow.
Yep.
Context and timing. Did she put 10,000 hours into this? Because to be an expert at something, it takes 10,000 hours. Has she put 10,000 hours into cleansing up, cleaning her body, learning her body, listening to the signs and symptoms, going to school to learn what that means, being patient, bringing a full holistic paradigm to the situation and not just worried about the one or two things or the magic supplement that's supposed to fix all things? If you want the magic supplement that's supposed to fix all things, I'd start with urine therapy. That's the fix all thing solution. Start there and then see what else you don't have patience to wait for to come through the urine therapy that you may want to motivate because it helps your ego or it helps you get out of fear, right? Because sometimes people have to feel like they're doing enough to get out of the fear of not helping themselves get well. You
Yep.
know, helping people heal is such a very dynamic way of being, right? When you're truly invested into allowing people to heal in their own way, and you're not trying to make them heal,
Hmm.
but providing space and knowledge and opportunity and giving them guidance about the things they fear or they're unsure about, or they're not so sure they want to take that next step, you know. But I think if we're developing things in such a way to where we're introducing this and educating and then putting some ownership on them validating it, you validate the lies that you've been told. Prove it through actual exercise. Exercise it. So if your urine's so bad for you, why wouldn't it cause a problem if you rubbed it all over your body? It
Hmm.
should make you sick. It should make you dog sick. If you come in contact with waste, waste would make you toxic, right? So why not experiment with that if that's what you think? That's got to be part of our job as practitioners is to allow a little challenge of their mindset. Challenge that
Belief. Yeah.
program that was planted in your brain because you didn't put that there, buddy.
Hmm.
That got put there when you were a baby and you've just bought into it your entire life. That doesn't
Well,
make it true.
now is the time to do this kind of a conversation because, and we're getting close to that closing of the class time. Um, the COVID, the COVID thing when it hit, it shattered enough people to wake up and re-examine the so-called truth on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from the medical industry to our history to the size of our planet, everything got questioned. So why not question urine? It just
Everything.
everything gets questioned, everything gets torn apart, looked at closely, and a lot of that's going to be left on the wayside.
I know we're going to grow out of this phase. It's going to take a little time, but
Mhm.
they're definitely going to grow out of the phase at some point and get to a place of investigation and acceptance versus fear and denial.
Resistance, yeah. So the day is yours, the day is mine.
Yes.
I'm gonna carpe the piss out of it and make the most of it. And you gave me assignment? Urine therapy has no expiration date. One of the guys that I bounce off, his name is Art Stemmel, and we met when he asked me to do a podcast with him. Um, and we became best friends, and he built the Shiva lifestyle store because he's also really good at web designing. And him and I get to have plenty of time bantering pea jokes and pea humor, and
Hmm.
and he's a good inspiration for me as I am for him.
That's good. I think it's always good to have, I consider you my mentor, absolutely. Um, and always will. I respect my elders. I consider you one of my elders on this medicine, on this earth medicine walk that I have been pulled into, um, that I've been assigned. I feel like I've been assigned. I think you know you've been assigned at some point because
Oh yeah,
I'm all in. I have no desire to come out of this world. I feel assigned. I feel I'm on mission and exactly where I'm supposed to be. Even when it
ditto.
pains me some days, it's like, but this is where you're supposed to be, and you know it with every cell in your body.
Hmm.
And you know the level of the stakes that we're playing in. And it takes a certain caliber of people to recognize the stakes and to
Hmm.
keep showing up every day, um, to reach people and to pull them in and to get them the truth, and to do it without dying in the process. I'm trying not to get, assassinated in the process of this, helping others, you know?
It's the balance. I mean, to me, the balance of doing raw foods for decades has been quite a discipline when all around me, everybody else is inviting me to potlucks or taking me out to dinner and all this. I'm going, but that's not me. That's not my food path. And it's the same
Mhm.
with urine therapy. I'm so on task that when someone reaches out to me from Facebook or Instagram or some social media and they're reaching out from somewhere in the world, I know it's a call for help. And I
Yes,
write things down. I go, I'll call them right back and they go, I'm surprised it's you. You called me. I said, well, you reached out. Let's talk.
let's talk. Let's figure it out. It's time to get to work. You need help.
And I love that because Mr. Lazy Procrastinator that still wants to pop up in me once in a while doesn't have much of a fighting chance these days.
That's the best. I still struggle with that. I still struggle with procrastination. Um,
Put it
I
off.
think I think it's just like you get priority overwhelmed sometimes when you got a lot of stuff going on. But like I said before, it's just the last couple weeks have been really beautiful, man. like I'm in a better zone and I'm calmer and um
You're relaxed
just
about
I'm more relaxed about time in the sense that it doesn't all have to happen in a rush anymore. It doesn't have to be like this crazy impact. Everything is flowing as it should. Just have faith, do the right thing, do the best you can.
trust the
Okay?
process. Yeah.
Do your best and forget the rest. That's it. Do your best and forget your rest. And it will all work out as it should. And this weekend was just a huge,
Good
like,
com
just a huge example and a testament to things like we were talking about earlier of how you set your mind and just allow it to flow, just allow the things to come without thinking you have to be there controlling and manipulating and holding on to things. Just we need to release more. At least I know I do. And so I'm working on that. Just release
well,
a bit more. Have more faith that everything is going to work out without you having to be so perfect or working so hard. You know, I was brought up on the hard working principle. Still trying to get the hell out of that slavery. You know, still got some pieces in there I got to get rid of that program about working hard. I don't ever want to work hard again in my life.
good. Work smart. Don't work so hard. Remember, everything is in divine order. I'll leave you with a quote from Louise Hay.
Okay.
I say this throughout the day. I've got it so memorized. The same with all my prayers and mantras and chants. When I'm in a situation and when I'm out in the public, when I was working at the event, and I felt like there were some disharmonious energies of people walking down the streets, I went into Lord Michael prayer protection. Lord Michael, I call on Lord Michael, I call unto thee. Will thy sword of blue flame and now cut me free? Blaze God power protection now into my world. Thy banner of faith above me transfurl. Oh well, anyway, you get the idea. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got the default setting. So when I'm in a situation, boom, here comes the chant, here comes the invocation of the great Almighty God, so that I don't have to be in fear mode. So here's the quote from Louise Hay. It's 4 sentences. All is well. Your recording thing went off. All is well. Everything is happening for the highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe.
I am safe. Yes. Yes.
Your mind is safe.
I am safe. Yes. The mind is safe. Yes.
It's only change. That's all it is. You're
I
going through
love
it.
it. I love it. Thank you for another great session, Brother Sage.
Likewise.
I will see you next Tuesday